Hey, so this is my first test recording. I'm mostly curious to see how well this video recorder works, so we're going to try playing a little bit of Dragon and Elves, or Merge Elves as it's also called, and see how this goes. So I play several different merge games. With Dragons and Elves, I started playing this last of all of the games that I'm currently playing. And I decided to try a new tactic. In my other games, I tend to delete things that I don't need or that are in the way. For this one of my goals in this game is to not delete anything, because I'm curious how quickly it's going to let me build my world if I'm keeping all of my stuff. One of the other games I play is Merge Dragons. So you get a lot of small flowers and rocks and things like that the dragons harvest that you don't necessarily need. In this game, I'm not too far along. I tend to play the events more than playing around in camp or playing the levels. But possibly with this recording, that's going to change. So right here, I have my daily chest. Ah, very nice. That's an egg piece. I've got 3 of them right now, but I'm saving them up for a 5 merge because you should always wait for your 5 merges. And some stars. Let's see what's there. I do tend to keep my camps very organized. I don't know, it makes it easier to find things. And when I'm working on different chains, it makes it easier for me to, see what I have and see what I need. A little bit of a camp tour. I'm not sure that I have this laid out in the best possible way, and part of the reason is because I'm not super familiar with all of the merge chains. And I'm also working with a fairly small amount of space right now. So as I get more space, I'll reorganize, and as I understand some of the different chains that I don't really know about very well, I'll move things around so they're in an optimal space. So over here, I've got my berries. So there are these little flowers that, when you tap on them, they give you piles of berries. You can also double tap them and have your elves come over and harvest them. And then you take these berries and going for the 5 merge here. As you merge them up, you get larger and larger piles of berries. And I feel like if we're going to compare this to Merge Dragons, which is the first merge game I played and the one that I'm most familiar with, I think these are similar to the bushes and the mushrooms, the bush chain, and then these are the regular mushrooms. Got a lot of those in there. Go ahead and merge that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I pull one of those out, got a 15 merge right there. Nice 5 merge. Another 5 merge. Another 5 merge. Alright, then we can go ahead and tuck these back where they belong. Right over here, I have my elf tree chain. So it starts off as an elf tree leaf. Then you get a sprouting elf tree, an elf tree sapling, growing elf trees, and then the level 4 young elf tree is the biggest one I've discovered in this chain. So that used to be on the other side of my camp, but I moved it over here after I started getting more and more and realizing, oh hey, these guys do stuff. Taking a look at these 3 things right in the middle here. Oh, excuse me, buddy. Thank you. We have the Dragon Blood Tree Seedlings, level 2. and the sprouting dragon blood tree. I'm not really sure what these do. You can't harvest them. And I have found them as I've healed the map, so they've just been on my map. I don't know where they come from. So I'm really interested to see what happens with those as we get further into the game. Get back there. All right. Then up in this corner, I have my gem warehouses. Eventually, I would like to get the highest level of the gem warehouse because that will give me the most storage, and also when you tap on them, that will give you higher and higher level gems. There is a trick for how to build your gem storage, or your resource storage in Merge Dragons and Merge Magic, and it also works in Atlantis Adventures is another game that I've tried, where it lets you build your storage more easily and using fewer resources. So I'll probably do a video on how to do that later on. But I'm sort of taking my time and waiting until I get a 2x2 object, and a better explanation of that will come up in later videos. If you've ever played a merge game, hopefully you can use a 2x2 object to put things into bubbles to get them off the map and out of your way. But yeah, we'll talk about that more in another video. The next thing that I have here are my little mushroom houses. So the largest one I have is the level 3. And these mushrooms tend to come from harvesting the logs. When you get a dead plant or a creepy looking plant, you can harvest them and you end up with mushrooms. I think these mushrooms are similar. The mushroom houses are similar to one of the sets of mushrooms in Merge Dragons, but I'm not positive. So definitely looking forward to exploring these more. I think they are super cute. And yeah. The next thing that I've got here are the dragon houses. So the highest level house I have is the level 3. And yeah, if you tap on one where you've got sleeping elves, I keep saying dragon houses, I think you have the elf houses. An elf will pop out, and if you don't give it something to do, it just goes back into a house and goes back to sleep. Right in front of my houses, I have these slimes. So I have a yellow slime, which seems to be a slime seed almost. It doesn't do anything when you click on it. And I have an orange slime. It also doesn't really do anything when you click on it. And if you look at the merge chain, that's all there is the yellow and orange. So I'm not sure if these are decorations or if they're more meant to be, you get them and then you sell them for the gems. Possibly like the amber in Merge Dragons. But there are other merge chains that kind of looks like those slimes, but they don't have the little almost Hershey Kisses top to them. So you have a forest slime, a magician slime, and the businessman slime. And these will give you fruit tree sprouts. So they're similar to the water fountains in Merge Dragons. So hopefully you saw when I tapped on my businessman slime, I got this little sapling, fruit tree sapling here. And if I move the screen over a little bit more, we come to my fruit trees. The fruit trees produce life flower sprouts, just like in Merge Dragons. So as you get 5 of those, you can merge them together and be working on your flowers. So the saplings don't give you anything. They just kind of sit there. And then your next level up is elf orange sapling. it will start to give you these little seedlings or the life flower sprouts, so you can work on your life flowers. As you get into bigger trees like the orange tree, you can tap on it to get fruit whenever you see that there's fruit in the tree. And for these, you can merge them to get gems or treasure chests, or you can also have your elves harvest them by double tapping on them. You do get more gold and more treasures if you have your elves harvest. But sometimes if you don't have a lot of elf power and you don't want to use it up harvesting fruit because you have other things you need them to do, you can just make a merge. And I got a life flower out of that and 3 gems and a little life orb. So that wasn't terrible. But since there were 5 fruits there, if I had harvested them all, I would probably have gotten all gems. So what you want to do with your fruits also is pretty heavily determined by how much dragon power you have and exactly what you are working on, and whether you are more interested in getting more gems or whether you're interested in getting treasure chests and sprouts and life flowers. So those are the fruit trees, and you can also double tap on the fruit trees to have your elves harvest the type of fruit that is there. Honestly, as you get higher level fruit trees, this is going to be your best source of gems. Like, say I just got a blue gem out of that orange, which that's a really good exchange. The next thing I have over here are my life flowers. So life flowers are harvest for life orbs, and it's these orbs that heal your camp. I don't have any dead land right now. Looking around, I have all of these brambles. But when you get enough dragon power to open a section of brambles, it's going to have dead land that needs to be healed, and you use these orbs to heal it. And like I said, right now I don't have any of those, so we'll have to look at that later. I like building up my life flowers. It's a really long chain. So if we look here, you can see I have up to a level 9, but it goes all the way to level 17, and then there's a wonder for it. So I like working on these because I know I'm going to be working on them for a long time. And sort of the sooner I get started, the sooner it's going to work out in my favor. So yeah, for these guys, if you want to harvest your life orbs, you just double tap them. And the higher level the flower, the higher level the orb is that they'll give you. So these little yellow and orange orbs, you can see I had my elves harvest the smaller flowers. But then up here, this one I have my higher level. This is a level 8. And I'm getting those turquoise rough orbs, the medium orbs. And yeah, so you can keep building these up. There are 9 levels of orb. And if you look at the healing power at the bottom of these, you can see that the power goes up exponentially. So if you have a lot to heal, or if you're doing an event, an out of camp event, you want to try and get the higher level orbs so you can heal more stuff. It's a lot more efficient. Let's see. So over here in the corner, I have a couple more elf houses tucked. And I have this tree right here, my corrupted tree of life. I'm not entirely sure what it does in camp. I think it's just a trophy sort of thing. It was on the map when I healed it. And when you're playing levels in the world map, these are the trees that you have to merge in order to win most of your levels. So I think these are like the Gaia statues in Merge Dragons, and I think when they're in your camp, they just sort of hang out there and you can put them somewhere and they look cool. Now, this area is where I'm sort of stashing everything that I don't need. I'm not sure what it is. That's not entirely true. Like, these things here are related to stone collection. Stone is your second resource that you need to build buildings. So what I want to do is have this area be my stone area where I keep my rocks, that when you double tap those, your elves will come over and harvest stone for you. And then you can merge the stone up to get, bigger and bigger pieces of stone. And the larger the stone is, the more it will ultimately give you, sort of like the life orbs. So like the level 1 doesn't actually tell you how much it gives you. I think the level 1 only gives you 1 stone. When you get to level 2, you're getting 5 stone, and so on and so forth, and it goes up to level 9. So the stone builds exponentially also, as you can see from looking at the numbers here. 250, 800, 2,500, and so on. So that's what I want. Oops. Ugh, clumsy tap. I just lost an orb, but that's okay. That's what I want to leave in this area of my camp. But like I said, I've been sort of using this area to tuck things that I'm not super positive where they fit into the other merge chains. Like I have this tall grass here, and the tall grass I think is like the pond grasses in Merge Dragons, because if you double tap on them, you end up getting these small stones, and the small stones are what give you the larger stones that you can harvest the stone resource from. So I'm probably going to leave these grasses over here. I have a shining panda stone right here, which is like the Zen temples in Merge Dragons. You can spend golden leaves to upgrade them, and when you do, you get eggs or creatures. So that can just sort of sit anywhere, and I decided to leave it over here. I also have these flowers that when you tap them, they release healing power. Since I don't have anything to heal right now, it just gives me points on my score. So these are like the prism flowers. The elf flower buds are part of that elf flower chain. So the level 4 is the biggest one I have of that. And then over here I have these immature golden fruit. There are only 3 of these in the merge chain, and they seem to come from the fruit trees. Every now and then the elves will harvest one of those instead of getting the type of fruit that is supposed to come from the tree. So I think these are like the golden apples. So that makes these really important, because this is what I'm going to keep working on and trying to get more of, so I can merge it up into that level 3. Because if these are really like the golden apples, and I think they are, the level 3 on this is going to be a 2x2 golden fruit. And once I get a 2x2 mergeable object, I'll be able to start bubbling things and working on my storage for my stone and my gems a little bit more. So I'm really excited to get that going and work on those. Let's see. So that's over there. Right here. So when you play the out of camp events, you get these trophies that are pretty cool looking, actually. I really like these trophies. But unlike in Merge Dragons, you can harvest your trophies and get the out of camp event point items to collect in your camp. So once you have it, it doesn't really do anything, honestly. At least not that I can tell. But there are a lot of really cool looking point items in some out of camp events that, I've definitely thought more than once, hey, I would really like to have that item in my camp just hanging around as a decoration. And it seems like in Dragons and Elves it lets you do that. So you can kind of see what some of the other things are. I also have these little hills here, and I think these are like the hills in Merge Dragons, because when you tap on them, you get piles of soil that look like that. And then you can have your elves harvest the soil, and it gets you gems and sometimes treasure chests and things like that. And sometimes you get these little grasses. I don't mind doing a 3 merge with that grass because it's just going to give me a little sprout over here. But yeah, and I also have a pile of treasure chests. I tend not to save up my treasure chests just because I'm not really working on the treasure chest chain, and they kind of take up space. So for now, I'll probably just open these and go ahead and pop them. And then I can, organize my stuff. I won't make you watch me do that. But yeah, so that is the main... Oh, I almost forgot the most important thing, my eggs. So right here in the middle, at the bottom of the butterfly, if you look at this whole entire map, it's a giant butterfly with like a diamond above it. Right at the very bottom of the butterfly is where I'm stashing all of my eggs. I hope I'm going to need to move them to a bigger location as I get more, but for now, this little area seems to work out nicely. And yeah, so that's how my camp is organized, and I like to just come in and let my elves make a huge mess, and then I clean it all up. Down here at the bottom, for those of you who aren't familiar with this game layout, this square is where you have your daily chest. So once a day, you just come and tap on it and it pops off into your map so you can open it. And then you also have a little fairy who will trade things with you. So today she wanted to trade some gems with me for a life flower, a level 4. So I figured why not? I harvested a bunch of fruit and had some extra gems, so I went ahead and made the trade. And then you just say collect reward, and the little trade treasure chest goes onto your map, and then you can click on it, and there we go. I got my trade, and I can work it into my flowers over here. There we go. But yeah, so that's a super quick introduction to Merge Elves, or Dragons and Elves, whichever name you want to call it by, and a quick tour of my camp. I'm hoping to do more videos with this. We'll see how it goes. There's an out of camp event, the Skylark Gobi event, starting on Friday. So I live in the United States and I'm on New York time. So for me, this means midnight. It literally starts as soon as Friday starts. So I'm going to try to do some recordings of this and see how they turn out. So until then, Happy merging. Don't forget your 5 merges. Oh, look at that. All right, sorry. I thought I was going to go, but I'm not going to go because now I've got 5 of these larger mushrooms. Let's see what happens when we merge these 5. Oh, okay. So I know these aren't mergeable, meaning I can't merge them together because when I click on them, they're outlined in black. So I wonder. Oh, okay. So these mushrooms are like the logs in Merge Dragons. So when you combine the logs together, you get a tiny cabin for hedge gnomes, is what it's called. So for these mushrooms, when you merge them together, you get a gorgeous elf mushroom house. It is so pretty. I really like that. That is super nice. So if these are like the tiny cabins for hedge gnomes, they're going to give off some of the berry trees, which are like the bushes, and then they'll disappear. So that always makes me a little bit sad. I'll be honest. The tiny cabin for hedge gnomes is one of my favorite things in Merge Dragons. I think it just looks so cute. And the fact that it disappears and I can't just keep one in my camp is a little bit sad. So I'm going to be a little bit sad with these guys disappearing too because I think they're super cute. I love the mushrooms. But yeah, so that was a fun end of recording discovery there. Maybe let's give it a minute and see if they actually disappear. I'm fairly sure they will. Like I said, it makes me a little bit sad. So while we're waiting to see if that actually disappears, I'm going to set up some mass merges. So doing a mass merge when you don't know how many items are in the group is dangerous because if you don't merge a group that you can divide by 5, you're going to lose out on stuff. But with this, I've got 4 rows of 5 of these green berries. So it's basically like doing 4 5 merges all in one shot. And actually doing that gave me a bonus item. I got this half ripe berries as a bonus. So that's pretty cool because I still got 2, 4, 6, 8 green berries level 1, which is what I should have gotten, and then it gave me this. So, there's an interesting discovery too. I'm thinking maybe in Merge Elves, you get bonus items for doing larger merges, where that doesn't happen in other games. Let's see, what have I got up here? I've got that. Oh, I need 1 more of the green berries level 1, so that's a 10 merge. Okay, no bonus item there, but that's alright. I've got a 5 merge with these half right. Move this all over here so I can see what I have. I don't know, these mushrooms are hanging around. I don't remember how long it normally takes the tiny cabins in Merge Dragons to disappear. It might be a couple minutes, so we'll see. Wait just a couple more minutes and see if those go away while I clean up all these berries and berry bushes. Let's see, so I've got 5 of those. Gives me 5 of these. Very nice. And you can tap on those, get all the berries out of them. See, that's a 10 merge right there. Yep, and I got another bonus half ripe berries. I'm really liking this bonus thing. Sort of gives you an incentive to do those larger merges. But if you're going to do them, just like I said, make sure you count carefully and make sure you have, an amount that you can divide by 5. Because if it's not divisible by 5, then you're losing out on stuff. So I've got that. I don't know. These guys are hanging around a little bit. See what a big mess they make? Spend all my time cleaning up one side and then the other side gets messy. 5 of those, 5 of those, 5 of these. Oh, they did disappear. Look at that. I thought they would. I was hoping they wouldn't, but they did. They went away, and they left me with one last berry tree to say goodbye. So that makes me a little bit sad, but I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Oh well, but it's cool to know what the mushrooms do. Alright, so now I will go back to saying goodbye and ending this recording, and hopefully I will be back with a recording of the event, the Skylark Gobi event, starting up for me in 11 hours and 34 minutes.